What is up, everybody? Welcome to Coffee and Crypto Live. It is me, TA Tim. No Jebb today. He is at his once-a-month business meeting, which is the second Wednesday of every month. So if you're tuning in and being like, what is this good-looking guy doing? I'm just filling in. So good show today, though, guys. Don't tune away, because here's what's really exciting about when Tim takes over, and the reason you need to watch the whole episode is nobody in this room actually knows what's going to happen on this show. With Jebb, you get the same thing. You know what you're coming for. With TA Tim, anything is possible, and that's what makes this fun. So if you guys enjoy this stream, if you love this channel, hit that like button as we get going. Consider subscribing, and before we go on, I want to introduce the rest of our team, and then we'll talk about what's going on in the show. First, my co-host who sits in my seat today is T Shroom. How you doing, T Shroom?
I'm doing great. Happy to be here.
Come on.
Excited to see you host.
Here's a tradition that we do. What was your morning ritual like today?
My morning ritual today was I had already made a sandwich for lunch, so I woke up and just got out of bed and made double coffee, and I actually had some chicken dip for breakfast.
Nice. That is the breakfast of champions. Speaking of coffee and crypto, grab your coffee, whatever you want, energy drink. I got my VT mug here, given to me by a good friend of mine who is also a Hokie. So go Hokies. If you're a Hokie, let me know in chat. If you're not, don't say anything mean, because I will cry. We're also joined by our producer, old Smay. How you doing, Smay?
I'm doing pretty good. I just want to say something mean about the mug. It's ugly colors, maroon and orange. Ugh. Anyways, I'd also like to...
It's also white.
I'd like to explain something. Guys, we didn't start late. The show, I accidentally put the wrong time for the start of the show. I thought I put 9:30, but, I failed. So, anyways, I'd like to also take this opportunity as a way of, I think, rectifying my actions. I would like to shout out 3 special members. Those 3 people are Alexandre Ignacio.
That's one.
Neil Melker.
Hey.
And the Crypto Knight.
Come on.
Thank you. We love you guys. Thank you.
Thank you to all of our members. Yeah, so guys, today, again, I said you don't want to tune out, because it's going to be fun. It's going to be real. But if you are waiting for a Crypto Jebb flow, if you're waiting for how we go through things, today is different. Today, we're going to go and pretty much do whatever we want. And here's what we're going to be covering. As you guys can see in the title, we are definitely talking about Cardano. What in the heck is happening? Because this is the most confusing project right now in the space. We're going to give Bitcoin a little bit of a break. We're going to do some quick technicals on Bitcoin, but we're going to go even deeper into Ethereum with Luxog and everything else going on there. But we're going to spend a lot of the show today talking about Cardano, looking at the technicals, looking at fundamentals, and discussing as a team. And here's what I want to challenge you guys to do. Super chats, feel free to super chat whatever you want, but I heavily encourage you guys to super chat your thoughts and your questions about Cardano, because I would love for us to be able to even camp out with you guys in discussing it. But without despite that, let's go ahead and jump on in. We're going to start off by looking at a quick market cap review. And yeah, you can go on my screen, Smay, because I'm already on Coin Market Cap. Let's look at what's happening in the space right now. The first thing I noticed when I came on this morning is look at this number right here. I hope they can see it. 39.9% dominance for Bitcoin. Yesterday, that was sitting at 41 point something, correct, T-Shroom?
Yeah, I believe so.
So we are seeing this diminish. I looked at an article. We're not going to cover it today. Don't have the time. We looked at an article today talking about Ethereum is definitely gaining space, and it does look like we are headed for maybe an all-time high of altcoin dominance coming away from Bitcoin. So this is something we got to keep our eye on. Probably not going to discuss the deep details of that too much today, but over the next couple of weeks, we do want to keep our eye on what's happening there with the dominance. At the end of the day, that's okay. I still love my altcoins. I know you guys love your altcoins. Don't worry about Bitcoin. Bitcoin is still sitting in a very good spot. There's room for everyone. Let's scroll down, see what's happening here. Bitcoin flirting around the $50,000 mark right here today. This is going to be fun to continue to watch. Down 2% on the day, 14% on the week, but we'll take a look here in a second. I think Bitcoin still is sitting in a good spot on the technicals. Of course, Ethereum looking really nice at 4,300. Couple other big things. We got Solana down today at $1.92, down 4%. Cardano hovering right there at $1.40. Anything else fancy going on? XRP sitting at 84 cents, up a little bit today. Let's see, was there any big movers over the last 24 hours? Looks like Chainlink up 13%, up to $22.95. That's really great. I know a lot of you guys love Chainlink. Let's see, I'm going to make sure there's nothing else here special happening. No, this looks good. I did want to say, we were talking yesterday about Terra Luna, so let me come to Terra Luna. Terra Luna is a project that, we talked about it a little bit yesterday, up 21% on this week. This was something, I didn't get to discuss it, but 2 weeks ago, I think some of you guys are going to remember Terra Luna's price was sitting down low. I can't remember the exact price, but I remember thinking, man, I should really get involved in Terra Luna. I should go invest a trade, because I remember looking at this side of the graph on CoinMarketCap, looking at it being extremely red and down. And that made me go over to TradingView, and it was a place I'm just like, the technicals look beautiful. But I decided I'm not going to enter a trade because I'm about to go on vacation. And that was a mistake, because Terra Luna, as those of you who are invested in it, had a very nice week last week. As we even see in the last 7 days, even to today, it still is up 21%. But I believe it had a lot more. It was almost like 50% or maybe higher than that. But, I missed out. That's okay. I know everybody goes through that day where you miss out on a trade that you think would have been good. But just so you know, in case you guys didn't, I sometimes don't even have to look at the charts. Sometimes I look at projects and get interested in investing in a trade just by looking here on CoinMarketCap and looking at what's happening with the chart from a rough, this shows what, the last 7 days. So sparks my interest, then I go look at it on TradingView. So in case you guys are looking for any tip to get a quick look at what maybe you want to be invested in, I would suggest starting out looking at CoinMarketCap. But with that being said, before we dive in, we're going to go ahead and jump into some quick TA on Bitcoin, and then we'll jump into Ethereum before we get into Cardano. But in case we have time at the end, because I told you, we don't know what's going to happen on the show today. If we have time left over at the end of the show, I want to give you guys a chance potentially to suggest a couple coins for us to do some 2-minute technicals, and it'll also give T-Shroom some time to maybe do some fundamental research on it to see if there's anything relevant happening in the news. So right now, I give you guys 30 seconds of permission to flood the chat with your suggestions. T-Shroom is going to pick, let's say 2 to 3. Get 2 definites and 1 possibility that you like, that you want to do some research on, and we'll just do some 2-minute technicals at the end of the show to wrap it out. So with that being said, we're still on my screen, correct, Samay? Boom, let's jump in. Let's come over here to Bitcoin and take a quick look at what's happening in the market. Let's see, what screen do I want to use today? Let's use Bitstamp really quickly. We talked a lot about Bitcoin. The reason we're giving it kind of a rest today is because, as we've been saying, actually, that's not the one I want to use. Let me try Bitfinex. Is this where I was doing? Yeah, I'm doing a lot more work on Bitfinex. All right, so I'm not going to go into too much detail because this is something we talked about a lot, almost every single day. So I'm going to jump directly down to the 4-hourly chart and let you guys know what is happening and what we should be doing and seeing here. All right, so on the 4-hourly chart, the first thing I want to look at is the MACD. We're going to see that the MACD is slowly curling back down. So this is a bearish sign. Jebb's opinion is that we have not necessarily hit the bottom yet. This is something we want to see the rest of the week. What are we going to do? As you guys can see right here on my chart, looking at these lines, there's a couple different possibilities. We do have this rising level of support, and the question is, are we just going to come down? It looks like we have a wick touching it. Are we just going to touch right here and then rally? So it looks something like this, which is kind of what my opinion is. Or are we potentially going to drop below that level of support and maybe find it on this descending level of support further into a descending wedge? The only good news is if we hit that descending wedge and come down here, maybe touching back around 46, 47,000, that should break bullish, and we should be back on our way to hitting maybe new all-time highs within the next couple of weeks, if not months. However, this is something to take a look at and know that as far as the MACD on the 4-hourly, it does look like we're kind of leading towards some bearish movement. On the Bollinger Bands, another thing we want to look at here, we are seeing, let me go to it real quick, we are seeing we're actually below the middle point. This is the, come on now, look up for me. We are back below the 20, let's see, this would be the simple moving average. And so just so you guys know, a lot of times this would have been really nice bullishly if we had used this for support, but you guys can see that red candle right there. Let me go to auto so you guys can see it better. You guys can see we broke below it with this red candle the last 4 hours. So now what I'm looking for, and I think this would be really good, and I think that the Bollinger Bands are going to help us, I am looking for a good strong bounce off of this rising level of support right here. Make sure I'm over so they don't get messed up with my picture because I know it's in that bottom left corner. I want to see us bounce right here. Price can still bounce out that level of support and rally back to the top of the Bollinger Bands really quickly, just for my own curiosity. What are we doing on the daily chart with the Bollinger Bands? Man, we're sitting right there at the bottom. I love that. That's bullish. Look right where you guys see the bottom of that wave of the Bollinger Bands. It's corresponding perfectly. I do think we're going to see a little rally there, but it is something to note that a lot of times when we cross bearish below that 20 simple moving average, it isn't necessarily, we didn't use it for support, it failed for support, and we might need to use the bottom of the wave. Another thing we want to look at on the VPVR is a key level to be watching and a key level to be looking at, and that is at 49,184. So let's kind of scroll a little bit here. This looks like a major level of support, as Jebb talks about this all the time right here. You guys can see a little peak right here, and we describe this as kind of like climbing up a hill or a mountain. When you get to the top, that's a nice level of either kind of sit and hang tight, wait for it, or it could push you down one way. So we're really hoping this was a good, strong level of support, and we can start to fall back up the mountain. That sounds weird, just fall up the mountain. We want to fall up the mountain on this one, though, and maybe find some good resting place anywhere between 50,000 and 50. Let's see, we'll go 53,345, which would be nice if we get to the top there, because that would mean that I win the HODL trophy this week. For those of you who don't know, my prediction was 53,500 by Friday at 9:30, but we will see. Just so you guys know, my hope is that we can rally here with support and come back up. The only thing I will say, and I want to scroll out to get this a little bit better look, if we do not hold and we fall below, there's not a lot. Now, let's see. There you go. Our next level of support would be down here around 47,000, which would kind of back up what Jebb is saying, that the bottom isn't in yet. And I think when he says that, he's not talking about the wick right here, where we came all the way down to 41,611. He's talking about the candle bodies themselves, which we hit a bottom of, well, I guess that is 46. So what he's saying is potentially, are we going to come down and touch this and maybe get even a little bit below it? There's a lot of things to look at before we go there. And again, we're sitting at a key level right now, right above 49,100. So keep an eye on that. If we can use that for support, we could rally back up to 53,000. If we don't, we could be falling back down to 47,000. Last thing I do want to show on the 4-hourly chart is the RSI and how we have set a new low on the 4-hourly chart right here. So you're looking right here at 16.39. The last time we saw something that low, we're scrolling. Where are we going? Is that it? Oh, here we go. The last time we touched right here is the 5th of September of 2020. Going out to the daily chart, let me look at that day and see what we did in the ensuing days, just to give you guys a little bit of analysis with back analysis. Ooh, that chart's nice and pretty. Here we go. 5th of September of 2020 would put us right here, right before a big rally. So, guys, if this is the same thing, if that is any indication how low we touched on that RSI in the 4-hourly chart, the last time we touched that low was the very beginning of, let's see that percentage, a massive 500% rally. Do I think that's going to happen again this time? Probably not, but keep in mind that a big rally ensued after our RSI was that low. That is all I have for Bitcoin. We're going to be moving into Ethereum, but before I get there, T-Shroom or Smay, do you guys have any thoughts about anything we just talked about? Any opinions you feel like you have not gotten to voice over the last couple of weeks about Bitcoin?
I mean, no, I think you covered it pretty well there, Tim. I think that, you know, it's just kind of a waiting game now. You know, it's all about patience. You know, I in the video that I made with Kellum, I talked about how we're kind of in the gift shop or like the lounge area at the ski slopes. Ironically, you were actually at real ski slope.
I was
at the time. Yeah. You know, and I said, you know, if we break down that support, which at the time we hadn't broken down yet, then, you know, we would have to reevaluate. Well, that's what we're doing now. We're reevaluating, you know, and the market has reevaluated, you know, what does Bitcoin's price look like under that support line now that we've broken through it? And the answer is somewhere around 50,000. You know, it didn't really go, you know, past 52. So we know that that's really an unrealistic price for Bitcoin at this point in time. But it's also not 60. You know, we were very comfortable around 60 for a while. And so, you know, it's just a matter of reevaluating. You know, whales are evaluating, you know, the retail space, the shrimps, as they're being referred to as, are evaluating, and it's just going to take some time, and it's really just kind of a waiting game, and the most patient will win is really kind of the way it'll go.
Yeah. I mean, that's all I would add is that, I mean, it's ultimately just a, you know, the good thing is, we're seeing a drop, but we haven't. I mean, like we were talking about the other day, the amount of support that at these levels, it's like, you know, like what Tim was saying, it's not like anything catastrophic is going to happen here. I mean, it doesn't look like it, at least, you know.
Yeah.
Are we going to probably hit 100 plus K at the end of the year, you know, it's still possible, but I don't think so. But the reality is, I think we'll still hit it in this bull cycle. Yeah. And I think we're not done yet. So it's just holding on and then taking this as an opportunity to just, you know, consider it a silver lining and collect more, you know. I mean, there's nothing bad has happened yet. If you haven't sold, you haven't realized your loss, you haven't lost anything yet. Mm-hmm. So as long as you're not over investing, you know, just hold on tight, and that you'll be happy you did. So, you know,
something we were talking about, I was talking with Jebb about this other day, and we didn't talk about it on the screen. You can go back, or on the stream, excuse me. Go back to my screen real quick. This is something I have a heavy opinion on, and people are welcome to disagree with me. Let me know in chat if you agree, disagree. T-Stream, Smay, I want to hear what you guys have to say here. Smay, obviously, you see my chart. Look at all the price action that happens between about 45,000 and you know, roughly 61, 62,000. This is really interesting. And the reason I think these levels are really clear is because I believe whenever it happens, you know, whether it's a couple of months, whether it's a year from now, whether it's a year and a half from now, because I've seen people saying that this bull market could go as far as even into 2023. Look at the price action between these levels of 45,000 and 61, 62. Let's just call it 45 to 60. The price likes hanging out in here. And I think that what we're going to see in the few times, excuse me, well, the few times we bounced our head here right below it, we came down below it, hung out a little bit, and then came back into it, bounced below, came back up. I think that all this price action, all of this movement between this range is giving us a great indication. I think let's remember this, because when we get back up high, when we get up, who knows, 150, 200, 250, maybe even 300 before the end of the bull run, I think these are the levels we're looking at coming back down to. So when you guys are asking, where should I buy Bitcoin? I think anywhere in this purple range is a beautiful place to be purchasing. But again, you got to make that decision for yourself. And that's something we're really strong about this channel, is we do not want to be the end all be all for all of you guys. We're going to tell you guys what we think. We're going to tell you what we're planning on doing, but do your research. If you love what we're seeing, what we're doing, and you agree with us and you've done your own research to back that up, then beautiful. Great to listen. But it's a massive, massive, massive mistake to watch a YouTuber and then say, I'm going to do exactly what that YouTuber does. That being said, we know that a lot of you people do it. Therefore, we try to give you guys the best and the clearest explanation and advice that we can, although we do not give financial advice. Let's give Bitcoin a rest. We're going to come back to Bitcoin tomorrow with Jebb, and we will continue to cover it. If anything crazy happens during the stream, I told you, we don't even know what's going to happen on the stream. So if Bitcoin explodes up or if it drops drastically, we will come back. But let's go ahead and move into Ethereum, because I think Ethereum is actually where we want to. We haven't really done that much over there, and there's a lot of interesting things happening. Let's see, which chart do I want to use? We have Coinbase. I'm going to go with my Bitstamp chart. I think that's where I have more of my notes. And this is what's really cool about Ethereum. And I've seen some articles posted the last couple of days talking about how Ethereum is about to explode, and it looks extremely beautiful right now. I will say I love what I'm seeing here with the exception of one thing, and that is these two levels of resistance. I want to see Ethereum do something to fix this. However, Ethereum is clearly destroying Bitcoin right now in terms of gaining dominance. Real quick, I'm going to look at the Ethereum over Bitcoin chart just so you guys can see it. We just broke bullish over the last week or so out of a bull pennant right here on the Ethereum over Bitcoin, and it looks to me like we are not actually slowing down. We might be forming another pennant or flag over here sometime soon, but we actually have a lot of room to go up in Ethereum over Bitcoin. So watch that number, as we talk about here on CoinMarketCap, the 39, here we go on the top, this 39.9% dominance for Bitcoin. That number could go down solely because of what Ethereum's doing, but this is what we need it to do. So going back to the chart, I talked about it at first, these levels of resistance, not on the Ethereum chart, these levels of resistance right here are really important. So for those of you who have been doing technical analysis for a while, you guys will know that, there we go, thank you, that this right here is two different forms, and let me make it a little clearer for you. I'm going to turn this line red just so you can see the difference of it, are two different forms of ascending wedges. One of them I anchored right here. Let's see, I anchored it right here back on the 24th of May, 2021, and drew through this line, and it ended up correlating here. The other one I anchored at the previous all-time high back in the 11th of May. And you guys are going to see those lines are really, really long. So before I dive in, I want to give you guys a tip. This is just my suggestion. I love doing it. It's actually something that Kelly Kellum was showing me here a couple months ago, and I love doing it this way because it helps us see a lot of things. As I told you, I'm going to go ahead and delete this line just so you guys can see what I do. This line right here shows me back analysis. What I did was I grabbed right here. This line is called here. If you guys are over here, this is called the extended line. I love using the extended line because it gives me a lot of back data. I'm going to draw it from right here. and correlate these points, you guys can see right now, I can scroll back and see how many times we touched and used this in the past. So you guys are going to see this was a key level right here back on the tip of the 30th of June, 27th of June of 2019. So this line goes back that far. I would never have known that unless I was using this extended line. The other line I just used, and let me turn this back blue just so we're not confused. The other line I did was this one right here. I anchored, and I'm going to show you guys what it would look like if I didn't use it, use the extended line. If I just use a drawing line, I could do it like this and say, all right, we have a line, this is right here. We still see an ascending wedge, or I can use that extended line and draw it and then go back and look at back analysis to see, was this anything special? And sure enough, what I'm going to do is go to the weekly chart just so that makes it a little easier. Sure enough, okay, it could have been drawn a little bit, but we would have found it touching close enough to this point right here that the previous all-time high we set back in 2018. This analysis is very, very, very helpful. This is something that I would advise all of you to do so that you can go back in history and look, was this a key level of support or resistance in the past? In which case, it helps give us even a clearer picture of what the price is doing. Now, that part of education is over. What these lines signify, that ascending wedge, 70% of the time, that's not 100%, that's 70% of the time. 70% of the time, we see price action break bearish out of ascending wedges. So we probably, meaning 70% of the time, we'll see this price action come down and test some levels down here. Who knows if we touch this level right here? Who knows if we get a little more before we see a rally, right? That doesn't mean we have to. And I want to show you a recent example of where we had an ascending wedge, but Ethereum was able to do the 30% option and break bullish in a massive way. And that is literally right back here in early of 2020 into the beginning of 2021. We were in an ascending wedge formed back here. And instead of breaking down, instead of coming down here, we broke bullish into this massive rally, setting new all-time highs. Just so you guys know, we're coming to the very end. I talked about this a couple weeks ago, that it looks like if you're just looking at this ascending wedge, Ethereum's maximum, even if it plays it out to the very end, is sitting around 6,000 level at the most. That's the highest you get, unless we do what we've done in the past. Take that 30% option and break bullish. And what we're going to need to see there is a lot of fundamental things happen, a lot of attention, a lot of new things coming into Ethereum. And I do believe that we have the path there, but it's something we got to watch. Are we going to do that? Or potentially, like I said before, are we going to potentially come down, break bearish out of this, test a previous level of support right here around the 2,700, something, 2,700, that area, potentially even maybe not go that far. We could maybe stop here around 4,000, maybe even 3,800, somewhere in this region before rallying. But this is something we got to keep our eyes on. It can be done. It's been done before. Let's see if we can do it again. Let's look at other technicals we see here with Ethereum that are kind of something that gives us bullish hope. And that is right here. You guys will see a bull pennant forming and actually coming to the very end of this bull pennant, which should see us go bullish. Right here, we got our flag posted. We got our pennant set up. And again, we could wander over into this region. I don't think so, though. I do believe if this pennant ends up playing out, we're going to see our price action break bullish and come up here. Like I said, though, after that, if that is the case, we have to watch and make sure, that we don't hit our heads on this level and then just decide to come right back down. This is something we got to keep an eye on for Ethereum. So I just want to, look at this. Every time I do this, it seems like I mess something up. I want to give you guys the warning on that. Let's look at some other technicals that aren't just lines. Oh, come on now. Trading view, boom. Let's look at the RSI and the MACD and what's happening there. Now, the first thing I was looking at this morning, and I was very tempted, and I'm sure a lot of you guys are tempted to do this as well, to look at this price action. You guys are going to see our RSI highs are going down while our RSI tops, our RSI prices are going up, right? Here is why I don't think that that's how we should look at that. If you're looking at this, is clearly bearish RSI divergence. However, we're going to see that this actually played out right here. If you zoom into the price action, we had our peaks right here, peak right here. Price goes up, RSI goes down, bearish RSI divergence. We came down. We even have a wick as low as 3,400. So I'm actually in the boat of saying this has been canceled. It is a line I want to continue to see if the RSI can go through, but just because we're seeing bearish RSI divergence does not mean that it will continue to be bearish. I believe that bearish RSI divergence already played out. Now, we haven't set up any bullish RSI divergence, but I do like that we're hanging tight right around the 50, and we've spent a lot of time on RSI up in the top section. So if we can stay above 50, I do believe that's another indication that we could be seeing some bullish movement on Ethereum, despite the, including the fact that we are finishing up a bull pennant. On the MACD here on the daily chart, we're seeing that the red histograms are actually turning white and they're getting stronger, and we're probably about to see a bullish cross, whether it's today or, sorry, I'm gonna clear my throat. We're gonna see it today or tomorrow or maybe the next day after that. But this looks great. I love what Ethereum is doing on the daily chart. Really quickly, let's look to see if that changes at all RSI or MACD on the 4-hourly. No need to look at the hourly chart today. We are seeing we began on the 4-hourly chart kind of turning a little bit red, but it looks like the last bar, this last bar of the histograms is turning a darker green. So even on the 4-hourly chart, we're seeing some positive action. Nothing crazy happening here. I don't see any bearish RSI divergence. I don't see any bullish RSI divergence, but what I see is a rally past the 50, come back down to use it as support, and potentially we're rallying up higher. Other than oscillators, let's look at what's happening on the Bollinger Bands. Let's look at what's happening on TD sequential. I'm going to go back out to the daily chart, give it a bigger view first, and then we'll come back in. So as we talked about on Bitcoin, that 20 SMA is actually really important. We did the exact opposite with Ethereum. Rather than falling below it, we've actually risen above that 20, and what looks like we have used it as support for this last rally in the last day. So this is another reason why I'm kind of bullish on Ethereum right now, heading back towards the top of the Bollinger Bands. Let's see if anything's happening on the TD sequential. No, I mean, this is looking great. We're at a green 2, or Jebb likes to call it a red 2. It's very early in the sign. For any of you who are wondering what TD sequential is, when you see a 9 flash, like if it was a green 9, like a green colored 9, that's a great indication that we're going to see a reversal to the downside. If it's a red 9, we're going to see a reversal to the upside. We are sitting in a very neutral zone where I don't think TD sequential can give us a clear picture on what's happening whatsoever. So as a whole, guys, when I'm looking at just those sides of the technicals, I'm liking what I'm seeing on Ethereum. But here's the thing. You can't just go off of a couple of indicators. You want to look at as many options as possible. This is why we use things like Lux Algo. So let's go ahead and look at Lux Algo and see what's happening there, because there is some interesting things happening that I want to help you guys break down. If you guys don't have Lux Algo, you definitely want to get it. We have a link in our description, right, Smay, that they can click on and get it. I know we just had a lifetime sale. That is over, but it is still a phenomenal tool if used correctly. So I want to first show you guys what we see right here, and I want to show you guys what we see on Bitcoin, and I'm not going to say anything. I want to see if any of you guys see it first. So look at what we have right here. Look at the trend catcher, this red line right here. Look at the candle bodies, and let's go look at Bitcoin and look and see if we see the same thing. So this is the daily chart. We have the red line, red candle bodies. This is significant, and I'm going to tell you why. We had the CEO of Lux Algo in our office, and he was talking to us about what he loves so much about creating this and how helpful it is. A lot of people make the mistake of using this, using Lux Algo and only looking at these sell signals and strong signals and buy signals and trying to make their investments based off of that. That's not what you should do. Those are simply helping indicators to continue to show you the direction of the market. What he said he loves doing is looking at this trend catcher and looking at these candle bodies. You will see the color of these candle bodies are purple. What does that mean? It means that right now we're actually in a stage of indecision. If anything, we have green candle bodies leading up. Even though we turned red, the red wasn't strong because these candle bodies turned purple. We had 3 that turned green before turning purple again. Ethereum is sitting on a Lux Algo in a very indecisive state, which actually in this case, to me, how long that red trend catcher is screams a bullish sentiment. Versus if you go over to Bitcoin, it's the exact opposite. We have the red trend catcher, and we also have red candle bodies mixed in, which red is a strong opinion that this price is going down. Now, we are seeing that price rally up a little bit. I do think we're coming to the end of that downside movement, but the difference between Bitcoin and Ethereum is even in its downside, Ethereum is kind of unknown right now, and it's ready to reverse. Bitcoin needs a couple things to happen for those candle bodies to turn purple and be more confident about going to the upside. So as far as Ethereum is concerned, we actually really, really love what's happening here. Another thing is, you guys are going to see, let me go back to Bitcoin. I know I'm bouncing here, but you guys are going to see we're kind of playing right here with the, let's see, these things are called, I thought I messed up the names of these things are called. These are called the reversal zone. So we're kind of messing off of that green reversal zone and using it for support. You're going to see, if we scroll back, there's actually several times within the last couple of months that we've we've gone, see back here, we went deep into this reversal zone. Whereas Ethereum, let's actually go to my Bitstamp chart. Ethereum has one place. Wow, what are you doing, TradingView? This is fun. One place in the last couple of months where we had a wick touch it. So Ethereum is a very bullish project, and Luxago is showing you that even though there's retracements and corrections, it is a very bullish project that has a lot of sentiment going that up, 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 up. And right here, you guys can see even in this trend catcher, turning red, and even the indecision, we are nowhere close to this this reversal zone, which is a very bullish sign for Ethereum. So if you guys love Luxago, if you guys want Luxago, make sure you hit that description below. This just kind of helps surmise and fill the picture up for me that we are seeing bullish action on Ethereum, that it's in a place, don't get me wrong, we definitely could go bearish. It could be a season where Ethereum follows Bitcoin. We've seen that happen before. But if we're looking at the technicals, there's actually a lot of signs screaming that we could be going again to the upside and rallying. But T-Stream, what do you think?
Yeah, so I see a ton. If you're reading the chat right now, anybody reading the chat, you're seeing everybody, when are we going to get to ADA? We're going to get to ADA.
We are going to get to ADA.
We're going to spend probably the majority of the show that's left on ADA. But I want to say before we leave Ethereum, look, on this channel in general wisdom is you buy low, sell high, right? Ethereum relative to a lot of other coins, especially Bitcoin, is high. So why would you buy high, sell low? Well, I think that you have to look at it from a different perspective this time. If you were interested in buying Ethereum, you'd be buying strength. Right? When I look at the crypto landscape right now, I see Ethereum showing strength. It's retraced its losses a lot faster than many altcoins and Bitcoin. And look at MATIC, right? And what is MATIC? MATIC is Ethereum's level 2 to speed up those transactions. Yeah. It's looking good. We don't think about these coins as competing with each other too much. We like to think about crypto as a friendly space, but Ethereum is kind of low key making a power play right now, kind of a power move, showing that it's strong, and it not only gets bought up quicker, but it also doesn't take as much losses when it does dip.
Well, yeah, that's a great point. And before we're going to jump into some super chats here in a second, but I also want to make sure you guys realize you don't have to use this to say, oh, I need to buy Ethereum right now. Use this to be like, if you're investing in Ethereum trade right now, or if you're considering, man, is Ethereum near the top? Do I need to sell? This TA is showing you, no, continue to hold on. You're going to make some gains. If you want to buy, great. The other thing is the question, are you trying to make a short-time trade? Are you trying to invest and make money by next week? Or are you in this for the long game? Because I do believe this is a great buying opportunity for the long game. But if you're just like, hey, how do I make money right now? Man, you might want to look at some other altcoins, and we're going to try to do that for you here later in the show. But the point of this is not to say Ethereum is in the best spot. It's going to make you the most money right now. It's saying, look at how strong this project is. Look at it has bullish momentum still to go. It is continuing to gain dominance on Bitcoin every single day. Don't get out of it right now if you're invested in it. And if you're looking for a long-term investment, this is still a great spot because I think there's a lot of upside to go. With that being said, let's do some super chats. And let's say if there's any about Cardano, let's save them because I want to get those. I want to talk about all the Cardano ones during the Cardano section, which is coming up right after this break. But if there's any other questions, let's answer those.
All right. Are there any super chats? Yes, there are. Hey. The first one is a question, just a shout out to get me to do ENS as one of the altcoins.
Okay.
If there's time, we've already got 3, and I'll take this time to shout out which altcoins we're going to be covering today if we can get to it. Yeah. MATIC, Crow, and VET.
MATIC, Crow, and VET. Crow was definitely up there in my opinion. Yesterday I was like, I think Crow's going to be one of them.
Yeah, and
MATIC's had a great week, so that makes sense too.
And I picked that out of just a visual consensus of what the chat wanted. MATIC obviously is a really exciting coin right now to cover. So back to the super chats. Gregory said, T-Shroom, loving you in the co-host seat. Here is an energy drink on me. Excellent. Well, I've got my energy drink right here. It's the coffee bean ground up and shipped to me via some K-Cup manufacturer. All right, Steve 1290 donated $2 in foreign currency. In the gym, listening to you. Excellent. Well, boom. There's not much better you could be listening to in the gym.
I'll say this: if this ain't motivational, I mean that. Yeah. I will say there's been times people have wanted to listen to music I'm listening to when I'm working out. I sometimes listen to the softest. Like I do not listen to hard metal when I'm lifting. Sometimes I'm listening to really soft music. Sometimes like worship music. I am not a heavy metal or rap guy sometimes it's nice, sometimes I listen to some upbeat stuff, but it isn't what motivates me necessarily. So to each his own about what they listen to in the gym.
Yeah, I listen to a lot of Taylor Swift while I'm
there you go.
out.
There you go. That'll do.
I like
Swift. I don't know if I've added that to a repertoire of gym music, but there are definitely some T Swizzle songs I like.
Yeah. So I think it's the average person in the gym is listening to either Taylor Swift,
yes,
Van Halen, and probably just our streams, Crypto Jebb.
I mean,
streams.
I would. Yes, that's probably true. If it's not, it should get that way very quickly.
Yeah, and that will conclude the super chats for today. Kind of thin. That's all right because we're just we're powering through here. And, we're taking Tim's way. This is the Tim way. Yeah, I got a text from Kelly. So, we have, just so you guys know, and if you ever wondered, we have a schedule. We have times, we have different slots. And he texted me, he's like, let's hold off on super chats. We're way behind on time. But I told you at the beginning of the show, nobody knows what's happening on this show because this is not the Crypto Jebb show. Today, it is the TA Tim show on Crypto Jebb YouTube channel. But we are about to jump into something we have not talked about in a while. And I hope you guys have held on because I know this is what you guys wanted. What the heck is happening in Cardano? I have been looking at this freaking chart for months saying it's about to rally, it's about to rally, it's about to rally, and it freaking won't. Despite the fact that we have a bunch of news that's bullish, and we're going to talk about that here in a little bit. We're going to cover the charts first, but then we're going to jump into fundamentals because, as you guys know, they're both extremely, extremely important. But what in the heck is happening in Cardano? Because it really should have rallied by now. A lot of people are even abandoning ship, and I've seen, even on this channel, comments saying Cardano's dead, get out of it. And I disagree. But I understand why some people have that mantra or that thought. But let's jump onto the charts and let's look at what's happening before we freak out and, try to understanding a little bit of what's happening. So the first thing I will say, and I drew this morning, I was like, man, I forgot I did draw that a while ago. But one of the explanations, TA, this is technical analysis for this drop, and there's a lot of fundamental reasons why too. But check back this line right here that we could have drawn and established well before the middle of November. We actually had a descending triangle. Now, descending triangles, wedges, they're different. Wedges are where both lines are moving up but getting closer together. Triangles are where one line is flat and the other line is descending or ascending. So in this case, it is a descending triangle. We had a flat level of support, and when you use a flat level of support, that means you keep hitting it and hitting it and hitting it, the same exact level. Most times, the support ends up giving and you end up breaking bearish. That's exactly what we did here in November. We broke bearish out of this descending triangle, falling back down. Now, I will say it looks as though we have potentially found support right here at around $1.30. I know we have some wicks down below it, but we constantly are closing our daily candles back up above this $1.37, which would put us, if that support trend holds, into a symmetrical triangle pattern forming. If you look at our last low back on the 21st of July, right here around $1.03. Now, theoretically speaking, we could go down that far. You look at the wicks we have. I have these wicks here and leveled at 120 just in case. But what I'm looking for and hoping, and I'm sure all the rest of you are, that we can actually turn this symmetrical triangle into a bullish form, because if that's the case, we could use this and then rally back up the way we thought we should for a very long time now. However, that's just looking at what we see on the charts. The other thing is, if you zoom out and you go to the weekly chart, and we don't always do this, but I'm going to go to the weekly chart because we haven't talked about Cardano that much recently. You guys are going to see the same thing we talked about earlier with Ethereum. We are in a large scale ascending wedge. We're in two different one of them, depending on where you want to draw it. You could make an argument. You could draw this one as well, but I wanted to start right here and just give you guys a picture of what we've seen. We've seen this line, and let me turn it red for you guys just to differentiate our lines. This line, we could have anchored right back here on the 16th of July, which is one of those little peaks on the way down. But then we have used both these last couple all-time high touches as resistance. You can use another one here on our kind of trip up here in 2019. And we touched it again with our first all-time high. So my question is, are we just in a very long ascending wedge? And in which case, you guys can see it, we wouldn't be breaking bearish. If it was this one, we wouldn't be breaking bearish till closer here in May of 2022. And if it was this one, we're not going to be breaking bearish until, you could go all the way up into April of 2023. That being said, doesn't mean it's going to go that far, but especially if we see the market go like what I said, Ethereum, where we're looking for Ethereum to break that level of resistance. We're looking for Cardano to do the same thing. We're looking for Bitcoin to do the same thing. Almost every project right now is actually in an ascending wedge, which again, in technical analysis, 70% of the time breaks bearish. It doesn't mean every time.
That 30% happens. That 30% happens frequently. We've seen it happen even recently. So that's what I'm hoping for all these projects. For any of those out there saying, let's get Bitcoin to 200,000. Let's get Cardano to, I think people have said, I've seen as high as $20. Let's get Ethereum to $20,000. You know, they're going to need to break these wedges, but it is doable, just so you guys know. But let's go zoom back in and instead of looking at the daily chart, or sorry, looking at the weekly chart, and let's look at what is happening with the other things, not just the formations, but even the oscillators and the indicators. So first, let's go look at the RSI real quickly. And you guys are going to see, let's see here. I was looking at this morning, but I want to remember what my opinion was. We are clearly setting up, and we're going to see this more clearly when we go down to the 4-hourly chart, but we are setting up bullish RSI divergence right here on Cardano's daily chart. And you know what? Just because I think it'll be more clear when we go to the 4-hourly chart, let me go ahead and go to the 4-hourly chart and show you guys what I'm seeing here. See, right here, we're going to see a flat bottom of RSI. Go ahead and draw that for you guys. Flat level of RSI, but in the same time frame, a descending price action. That is bullish RSI divergence. I'm very excited for that to play out. The truth is, though, we have seen bullish RSI divergence forming on Cardano, and it keeps defying it. So don't just look at that and be like, oh, that's the salvation of Cardano. We have bullish RSI divergence. But it is something to keep an eye on that we do have that, and it is a very bullish indicator. The MACD on the 4-hourly is kind of, I think we were looking at Ethereum like this on the 4-hourly chart the same. It looked like it was turning down, but we actually have a little rally going on right now, a darker green histogram growing. This is, again, another bullish sign. Moving back out to the daily chart with the MACD, do we see the same thing happening, or do we see similar? Yeah, we see clearly, we have red histograms here, but they are getting smaller and smaller, and we're looking for a bull cross here. Potentially, this does not look like we're a day away or two, maybe 3 or 4, 5 days away from a bullish cross, but that's awesome right there. Kind of backing up that argument and hope that this ascending level of support holds and that the price action goes up with it. If we go to our Bollinger Bands, let's see where we are. I'm sure looking at this price, yeah, we're at the bottom of the Bollinger Bands of the daily chart. Love it. Again, that's going to give us some fresh action. You guys can see we did test that 20 SMA and used it as resistance, and sure enough, we used it as resistance, came back down, but try again. We're going to make it here eventually. We're looking at the TD sequential. Let's see what we have here on the price action. We have a 6, a red 6, or Jebb likes to call it a green 6. So we're not quite there. Like I told you guys earlier, we're not quite to that 9 just yet, but we are definitely on the back half of the stretch. Or do we see anything worse? Going to the 12-hourly, let's see if we get closer. No, and a 1 there. And it reset a couple times. On the 8-hourly, let's go to the 4-hourly. We had a 9 recently. Yeah, we've had 9s recently on both the 4-hourly and the 8-hourly. So even the TD sequential is kind of showing us, guys, it's getting to be about time for us to reverse this zone. Last thing I want to look at is last thing before I get to Lux Algo, let's look at the VPVR, and I love looking at the daily chart so I can get a little bit clearer picture there. You guys are going to see let's see, I'm going to get a little more price action involved. Just for those of you who have VPVR, the more price action you have, you can see a little bit longer data. You zoom in, you can look at more immediate data. You can see the strong level of support where we touched that wick is a very strong level of support on the VPVR. But the fact that we touched it and we're starting to fall back up the mountain or climb back up the mountain, we could even, there's a lot of momentum that could potentially swing us all the way as high as $1.62, or even if we get a little bit more, up to $1.90 before we start seeing high levels of resistance according to the VPVR. So that's really nice. If we zoom in a little bit, let's see on a shorter time frame what we're working with here. Yeah, same thing. We're seeing a very strong level of support right here around $1.37. And again, there's a couple little peaks, but as a whole, we actually have a lot of ease to get maybe as high as $1.90 even in a shorter time frame. So we're going to talk about some news and some fundamentals that are coming out very soon that probably will help us get here. But from a technical standpoint, we do look like we're sitting at a strong level of support with VPVR. So I don't think if you're just looking at technicals, I wouldn't say this time to jump ship. If anything, it looks like a great buying opportunity. Cardano is on sale. But let's look at one more thing. Let's look at Lux Algo and see what is happening over here on Lux. So come on now, pull up for me. Sometimes Lux Algo delays just a little bit, and today is one of those days. Got a spinny eyeball. There we go. We are down deep into the resistance zone. So even though, we're talking about Ethereum, doesn't do it often, it's actually a great thing to come down to those resistance zones. I mean, it's nice for Ethereum to almost never touch it ever, but when you do touch it, it's like getting to the bottom of the Bollinger Band. It's like being down low on the RSI or having a really down low MACD. It's kind of showing you we ain't got a lot left to go down. We're kind of really overextended to the downside, or underextended. I don't know which one you would say, but it's showing you great buying opportunities, reversal zones. We have a red trend catcher. The candle bodies are red, so that is something we want. I want to see those at least turn purple and go back green. But as a whole, looking at that reversal zone, we could hang tight here for a little bit, but I just do not imagine we're going to hang that long at that level. So from a TA standpoint, guys, and I know we've said this for a while, but it's still looking at a great price action, great buy action. I do think when we look back here in a couple of months, you guys are looking, even if you had purchased up here on 180, you're going to be happy, because I do think, again, looking at these formations, we got room to grow with ease all the way up to $5 with ease. And then if we go into this one with ease up into, well, we could go a long ways into the 20s even. Now, I don't know if the money is there necessarily. I don't know how many people are going to invest. We're going to talk a little bit about that here in a bit. But before I jump in, T-Shroom, what were you kind of looking at and finding today in the news, in the fundamental aspects of Cardano?
You know, I have been thinking about it a lot.
On my screen.
The actual content is complex, but what I'm also thinking about is how to communicate it, because it's also difficult to communicate. We're traders, right? We look at the charts. We're very familiar with the charts. We spend all of our time looking at shapes and triangles and all these different things. But we have been sold this concept that Cardano is a very strong brand, right? It's a very strong project, and I believe that it is. But the price action does not reflect that it's a strong brand. So why is it down so low? So again, I'm a trader. We are traders. We are not programmers or developers.
Yeah.
We know some programmers and developers, but we don't talk to them and seek, up-to-date guidance on things until it affects the price. And what I would say is there is definitely a development reason for why the price is so low. There is this piece of program called it's called Plutus Application Backend.
Yeah,
that means very little to me, other than I know what a backend is for a website, and for programs. It's the stuff that people don't see. It's not part of the UI or UX for the user. It's all for the programmers and developers, and that's what a lot of what people are working in crypto are. Anyways, they're very sophisticated developers. So I can't really begin to explain to you what a PAB is, but essentially, at first I thought it was kind of delayed. But reading into some of the forums on Cardano's forum site, forum.cardano.org, it looks like it's actually been released. The PAB is released, and developers are using it. The founder has reinforced that in videos.
Yeah.
But there's another piece that's missing to it. And again, we're traders. I'm using my limited knowledge of development and programming to articulate this. But essentially, the people that make things like this Sunday Swap, is a good example. So Sunday Swap's a program. They just released a beta. It runs on Cardano, and you farm Cardano in it, like you would farm BNB and Cake in Pancake Swap, or eGold in Mayer Net Exchange, which we'll get to. So these projects are coming out, and they're called DApp. That's what they are. They're for folks who are looking to trade and looking to stake. But essentially, there's a piece of the developmental puzzle that has yet to be released. That's part of the PAB framework. Yeah. So, again, taking another step back, these are all just a bunch of programming acronyms and things. And as traders, every once in a while, you have to get off the chart and go wade into the fundamentals. And it's not always news. It's not always, Jamie Dimon saying something about Bitcoin again. It's sometimes you have to go into what are the developers doing? What are the actual, guys putting hammer to nail, actually constructing these networks actually doing? And for traders, sometimes, that's our biggest weakness, is we just don't understand some of the intricacies.
Yeah.
Look, if you're looking at Tesla stock, you don't know the intricacies of lithium molecules and how, that affects the stock price. That probably doesn't day to day, but you see what I'm saying. Like it's difficult for someone who's really good at trading stocks, tech stocks, to look at something like Tesla and make an educated decision based on molecular functions of lithium, even though it is very important to to Tesla's. So, and Elon's vision for that. So you're in a similar situation here with Cardano. It's like, you know, I've bought and I've held. Am I still buying more? I am still buying more because you're getting a discount on what has been sold as a great project. A lot of very smart traders and a lot of very smart developers in the crypto space have bought that narrative that Cardano is a good brand and it's a good project. I continue to buy that narrative. Yeah. I just think that when I'm looking for some answers down in these forums, and I'm not really getting any. I don't know if that's a lack of my own development and programming knowledge. It probably is, or if it's that nobody knows. You know, it's only the core team at Cardano that really know. So, you know, essentially we're waiting on something, and I don't really know what it is, but it's an aspect of the PAB. So that's my take on the fundamentals of Cardano.
Yeah, you know, in the last 30 days, major price descent. You can go to my chart real quick, man, and we can look at this. In the last 30 days, the price has dropped as low as 45%. But, you know, if we're going to where we are right now, we're down 38%. So a lot of people in the last 30 days have been very bearish, very scared, a lot of FUD out there. And, you know, Charles Hoskinson, he responded to this. There's an article right here I want to read to you guys where Charles kind of responds to this. And he said, you know, it says, Cardano's Charles Hoskinson has felt the crypto market's fear, uncertainty, and doubt, which is FUD, about the seemingly never-ending ADA's downtrend nowadays. This made him react that despite the ongoing crisis, Cardano doesn't need any magical Cardano 2 to survive. So let's pause, for example, and put this in light. For those of you who don't know this, Charles has been, you know, very outspoken about, I don't care about the price. I don't care about what's happening there. What I care about is Cardano actually working? Is it a system that's going to produce things? And this is one of the reasons why myself and the rest of this team are so heavily invested in Cardano, that we love Cardano. We love everything it stands for, because it's very similar to us. You know, yes, we have a business. Yes, we want to grow things. Yes, we're going to make money for ourselves too. But we would consider it an absolute failure. We would say that this business would suck if we become a multi-billion-dollar business and people who watch us and are tuning in and being a part of what we're doing are not succeeding along with us. We would see that as a failure. Cardano's the same way. Charles is way more invested in the success of the application of Cardano than he is the price action, and if the price is good. Now, when you see a very good business, when you see a very good product and project, you're going to see the price go up. But just so we kind of stop right there and remember what Charles is trying to really get us at is, guys, forget about the price for a second. What is Cardano actually doing? He goes on to say, or in the article, moreover, on one hand, the current uncertainty is a future-proof design and evidence to be clear any doubt whenever Cardano regains a prestigious strength despite the new price outlook, according to him. He has a Twitter post right here where he kind of talks about the building blocks of Cardano and what's happening. They don't need a Cardano 2 to survive. You guys can read it there for yourself, but it's being built brick by a very strong community. In the post, Hoskinson confidently mentions that they have teamed up with extraordinary performance to systematically improve ADA's functionality. So pause right there. He is investing his money to make the project better. He's not sitting here stressed out or concerned or worried because the price of Cardano is falling. He has his mind completely focused on how much product they produce. And we're going to look at a couple charts to show you the success level of Cardano here in just a second. But he said, additionally, he further noted a smooth statement that even with the help of their most engaged Cardano community, ADA will start a flourishing performance in a step-by-step fashion in the coming days. Many think that the reason why ADA's FUD is so loud in the market is because it claims to be an alternative to crypto, in crypto to Ethereum. Others have also a strong belief that regardless of anything that happens, this moment is not an end game for Cardano. Rather, it is preparing to come back with a competitive bullish appearance. Cardano's price is trading at 159, so this is a little bit ago, with a market capitalization of 53 billion. Nonetheless, despite the crisis, ADA's market cap value makes it rank number 6 as the largest crypto in the world. So pause. Don't go off my screen real quick. I want to remind you guys, before we get into we look at those on-chain metrics, remember being in this region right around here. Remember being up high. Everyone back in May, oh, Cardano's amazing. Then we went through a couple months, just like everything else. It seemed like, oh no, is it dying? Is it going down? Then we rode this way. Oh my gosh, Cardano's amazing. We're just in a season of coming down where people are like, oh no, is it dying? Is it going? I'm expecting another rally just like these to happen in Cardano, and it's because Charles is the person that he is. It's because he's worried about actually producing something well. And as he's kind of pointing out to, there's a lot of FUD in the market because there is this perception that Ethereum and Cardano have to compete. They have to be head rivals. He said before, I don't need to kill Ethereum. I'm going to focus on Cardano. I'm going to focus on making Cardano the best thing it can. Whatever Ethereum's doing, good for them. They can do whatever. I'm going to stay focused on my mission. And that is a beautiful thing. Let's look at these two metrics. And I want to get even Smay's opinion, because I know Smay has gone back and forth the whole time he's been working here on which one he likes more, Ethereum, Cardano. And I don't know which one he's in the camp right now, so I'm interested to find out actually here in a second. But the first thing I'm going to show you, this is a Twitter post that Kelly Kellum posted this morning, and it's by Cardano Daily, but he posted on his Twitter as well. And you guys are gonna see, I just talked about how we've been down roughly 38% in the last 30 days on the price action. But Cardano's revenue in the last 30 days is up, peaking. What does this tell me? Despite the fact that the price is going down, there's still a lot of exchanges happening on the market. So this is not a situation where Cardano's price is going down because it's not being used. It's actually continuing to be used, and despite that, the price is going down. So this is a bullish sign of the basis of the project of Cardano. But we can get an even clearer picture when we come over here, and you guys are going to see this red line right here being the price, but the blue line being active wallets. We see active wallets are growing despite the price coming down. What does that symbolize? What does that communicate? That who cares about the price? More and more people are getting invested. And here's what I want you to think about before someone's like, oh, just because there's new wallets happening, it could be a lot of noobs that are about to get, killed. Noobs who don't know what they're doing. Noobs who don't understand how to invest, they make the mistake of getting into markets at the top, not at the bottom. These new wallets, despite the fact that the price is going down, are getting involved because they know that this is a great buying opportunity. Just as we looked at the charts, Cardano is screaming that it is undervalued right now. And we see a lot of new wallets coming into the market, and they're not gonna scream and they're not gonna yell. They're completely okay with the news continue to push a FUD movement. They're very okay with people screaming that Cardano is dead because they know you can say whatever you want. You can look at the price. This is a great product. It is going to explode. It's going to come up. But Smay, you can go on my screen. What do you think about all this? I want to hear your opinions because, again, you've gone back and forth here over the last couple of months.
Can I just say, I actually think that Cardano right now is perfectly valued.
You think it's perfect?
I think it's perfectly valued because it's exactly what T-Shroom was saying. The fundamentals is actually way bigger than just news stories. If your project live and dies by the news of the coming and going of what's happening at the hype, then your project is built off hype and speculation, right? And that's why I was even thinking about where Bitcoin's at right now. Bitcoin is where it's at because the fact that it hasn't fallen all the way down to zero or anywhere below that, right? Yeah. Is because it has this underlying intrinsic value that is like, that's just where, like, no matter what, Bitcoin is worth something, and it's worth around that where the levels it is now, right? So when I think of like Cardano, when I'm seeing Cardano right now with nothing really happening with it, there is development happening, right?
Yeah.
But it's nothing that's life-changing. It's nothing that's, the key word to me is that it's nothing that's not already being done by Ethereum or other projects, right? So it's like, it's nothing that's flashy or exciting. It's just, it's catching up, right? So honestly, I'm saying this because I'm invested because I do see a very bright future. I see a very bright future, and I'm invested in it. But I just think this is all a thing about they have to start, developing. We got to start waiting for some strong fundamentals from Cardano until I think it warrants these high prices where it's not just driven by hype and news. I don't know.
Well, but I think there are some news. This is something. I think a lot of people read the article, and we don't need to pull one up. But we also just the other day had 1 million wallets staking Cardano. They surpassed 1 million wallets. The reason I disagree and that I don't think it's perfectly valued, and the thing is, there is a question. What is the perfect value? I think you can make the argument that, technically, if it's at that price, it is the perfect value, but that's not true. I think we're talking about overbought, oversold. We have a lot of projects right now that are overbought. They're going to have some corrections. We have some that are sitting right there in the middle. There probably are at least for right now, proper. But Cardano, with everything they have been doing, with everything they're working on, and I've seen a lot of people even saying, look out in January, because that's when a lot of things are happening. A lot of explosion is going to happen there. Even going to my screen, Smay, look at all the ecosystem of Cardano is growing almost daily, but it is massive. And maybe that's not the same level. I'm not going to show you guys, but this is right around the same level of different ecosystems that Ethereum has. And so Cardano is testnetting, they're growing, they're coming up in the space. They don't need direct competition to Ethereum. They can do their own thing, just like Charles thought. But here's the other thing is, just like what he is saying, there's a lot of FUD about them. They were built off of a strong community, and right now they're kind of being hurt off of FUD news. They're being hurt off of just people who are actually scared of them and are trying to get people away from them. But despite all this FUD, the price might have fallen, but the number of people who are investing is actually going up. And to me, I think that is showing us a massive amount of underbought right now. I think it is way undervalued. Doesn't mean it can't go down in price, because again, as you did say, Smay, he is working on a lot of things. Cardano I think they have a couple things in the test net right now. Is that right, T-Shroom? Or is that test net is coming soon? Or
I think the framework for a lot of third party to Cardano, like other projects to move forward, they are in kind of a holding pattern. Yeah. Even though they have this PAB beta essentially, or maybe the full version of PAB, they're still unable to fully commit to the projects that they're doing and fully release them to the public, if you will. And from a trader's standpoint, that's kind of what matters. From a developer standpoint, I think they look at they look at the landscape of crypto and they're thinking our job is done, because that's what they're used to. And when they think done, and we never stop iterating, we never stop updating. And so I think they're frustrated with the market, because the market's like, well, we want answers, we want it fully released. Why can't we get Sunday Swap right now? Why isn't there full adoption of these new financial products for traders? And then the traders are obviously frustrated because the price is down so low. So there is some kind of dysfunction here. There is some kind of lack of communication potentially. But I think Hodgkinson's he's doing the best he can. He's putting out a lot of content. I think he kind of has to dodge some of the questions, because the answer seems to be we're just waiting. It's a hurry up and wait type of deal. So he's not going to give direct answers, because he knows that if he does that, it's not going to look great, because the answer is just wait. But then also, if he really gave you the answer, it would be all this developmental jargon that no one would understand. I'm looking at the forums on GitHub and stuff like that, trying to look at the team who's actually working specifically on PUD. And it looks like, they're working. I can see they're updating things in Haskell, which is the language that they're writing Cardano in, which I don't even know if that's the right way to say that, but they're working. They're updating different things. They're working on projects, and I feel like a teacher, coming in on their preschool, making sure things are getting done, and that's not what I want to feel like. Yeah. But that's just kind of the way it is, because there's such a separation of language. Between developers and traders. And right now there's just a lot of frustration and anxiety. I think the best outcome for Cardano at this point would be for, Hodgkinson to just really crack the code on marketing and communication at this point, to really figure out, maybe partner with a PR firm, to figure out how to communicate to people that everything is okay, everything's going according to plan. Yeah. It's just that, we are having a difficult time communicating the delays that we're experiencing, or the market's perceiving them as delays when they're not really delays. Yeah. That's kind of the portrait that I'm seeing being painted. And I'm just make sure we talk about this, because I knew it was coming up. I just couldn't remember the dates of it. Someone in the chat was saying that the Sunday Swap is actually test netting right now. So that's what I was talking. I remember reading it the other day, and I couldn't remember which one it was. But yeah, no, Smith, you had something you wanted to
my question is, you just pulled up a graph, and this is kind of like I don't know. I'm starting to get a little bit because yesterday, just for context, T-Shroom showed me what Decentraland was like for the first time. And I got to be honest with you, when I saw that, I was quite frankly severely disappointed, because I was like, look, the future of technology is great. It's great. But, am I going to spend billions of dollars for this, what is basically Roblox. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, no. So my thought is, like, do we even, like, we just saw a bunch of fancy logos of all these projects that are developing on Cardano. What's the status? Like, what are those projects accomplishing? What are they doing? Or are they just, are they just science projects? I mean, I don't know. Yeah. So that's my point, is like, all that stuff matters when talking about the value of a project. And, and my point is, what I'm saying right now is, when I say it's valued where it should be, is that's not a bad thing. That's not a bad thing. I think that's a great thing, because that means as they're working to develop strong platforms, that's going to bring all these developers to develop these strong platforms on top of their platform, right? I think that just means that right now, you're getting a great deal for a long-term gain, right? So that's why I'm still buying a bunch of Cardano, because am I expecting Cardano to go up this month, next month? It doesn't really matter to me, because all I know is the longer they take to develop means just the better project they're going to release. And it means that I'm going to be way happier when I'm, 35, 40 than I am, just because a news story came out because Charles Hodgson said something really neat, and now it just pumped to $3, I don't like this. I mean, even with Bitcoin right now, we're all chasing the next big Elon tweet story to cause some big rally. And I think it's just one of those things that's like, that's just not how, if we want the project to be valued the way we feel it is, because that's kind of what the whole name of the game is with crypto anyways, that everything is life-changing in crypto. Like, everything's going to change the face of technology. And in some cases it's true, but that takes more time, and just chasing different fundamental news stories and hype-based events, it's just that's not going to last. That's not a strong foundation to be on when it comes to price.
But we're about to jump into the chat, because I want to read the super chats. Yeah. But that's even the thing. Like, that's the reason why maybe we're just splitting hairs here. I believe it's undervalued because I believe in the future. I think when you're getting a Cardano, you really have to ask yourself, do you believe in what they're building? Yes, there's a lot of testnets happening right now. Yes, there's a lot of things that happen, but do you believe they're happening? Charles Hoskinson is somebody I believe that he doesn't do anything without knowing exactly the step he's about to take. And I believe in what they're building. And so there, in that case, this is a great time to get in. This is a perfect, they were able to get it over $3 just on hype. Watch what they do when they actually build amazing product. And the other thing is, a lot of people rush to be first, and they think first is the best. Look at businesses throughout this world. First is not always the best. The best is the best. And I think Charles Hoskinson is the type of person who's not satisfied with having an okay project. He wants the best, and I think that's what he's going to do. But let's read super chats and see what the audience thinks about it.
Absolutely. And before we do, just for the record, Decentraland's pretty cool. I see what
it is. Roblox. It is literally Roblox. I don't know what else to tell you.
I'd say it's less cool than Roblox. At least in Roblox, you can actually play like different, like, challenging games and stuff. But what I'd say is that
it's expensive. Roblox.
Decentraland poses a different value proposition, and we can talk about that another time. But I think it is cool.
Yep.
Yeah.
Whether it's whatever. Okay. Anyway, so Space Spiff. Spaceman Spiff donated $5. That descending wedge, and I don't know which descending wedge he's referring to. That descending wedge is the only limp triangle I'm okay with waiting out. I think he's talking about Cardano. Hashtag, I can't read that. Sildaphil. It's probably words, but breakout. You guys rock. Keep up the great work. Thank you so much, Spaceman Spiff.
Descending wedge on Cardano. I don't know. I guess what he would say, if you want to go to my chart real quick, and let me actually go to, I'll clean the chart up and show you guys what I think he's trying to say. The thing is, I don't know if we know enough. We could draw it. It could get broken pretty easily. Oop, nope, don't want to draw that early. My bad, guys. I think what he's talking about right here, if you want to draw this level right here, we would have to depend on that being the bottom for that to be descending wedge. We could also draw level support, technically, I guess, right here. Again, we're still depending on this being the bottom of that before we could really call it that. And then we could draw it right here, I guess would be the best thing. So that is a descending wedge right there. And we've been looking at a lot of ascending wedges, which break bearish. Descending wedges or falling wedges break bullish. So I'm assuming his name was what?
Spaceman Spiff.
Spaceman Spiff. That's a great name. If that's what you're talking about, you could use that. Fair enough. We can say that that's what that is. You can go off my screen now. Go back to questions.
Yeah, I also think he was kind of downplaying whatever triangle he was pointing out.
Oh, okay.
Anyway, Eye of the Beholder, which is kind of a clever name,
Yep.
donated $5. Smash up the like button, folks. Even when Jebb ain't here, the content is better than 95% of other channels. Does that mean it's worse than 5%? Just kidding. Thank you, Eye of the Beholder.
Yeah.
We do our best.
Man, I think I've seen, what was the top number we saw? I know at one point I saw like closer to 33, but we have 3,000 watching right now with 1,000 likes. That's great. I know we could get that up to 1,500. I think half is very reasonable.
Yeah.
So hit that like button. And again, if you don't like the show, hit it anyway, because that's the nice thing to do.
Hit that like button if you've ever put in a quantity in a swap and realized that you'd put the wrong quantity into the wrong coin, and then you had to delete it and go into the right coin and then put the quantity that you had. If that's relatable to you, then hit that like button.
Do you have any other super
Hopefully we got at least 5 likes from that.
do we have any other super chats about Cardano?
We do have other super chats. I don't know if they're about Cardano. This one, the Kardashian.
Hey, come
Interesting name.
Nice.
$5. No holding pattern. Sunday will be released this month. Some projects are simply ahead of others. Also, they just hired a ton of marketers. So, hey, look, somebody knows some things. This is good. The Kardashian is keeping up with Cardano, which is excellent. Sunday Swap is released. It's in beta. And maybe that's because they released the pub and they're able to, PUD, and they're able to go ahead and start making some dApps. So that's excellent. Something I want to
say about that. Like, okay, so there's so many people. All right, there's so many people that want to put the Ethereum versus Cardano war. I actually a very long time ago tried even playing that game. That's the wrong game to play. Actually, both Vitalik and Charles have said. We don't have to compete. We can both coexist. Now, people continue to put them against each other. And then a lot of people want to crash on Cardano and say, oh, you keep talking about things, but you're not coming out. Oh, you haven't proven anything yet. Well, what about Ethereum? Ethereum continuously, they've done some things, but how many times have they kept pushing back Ethereum 2.0? How many times we keep seeing that delayed? And I don't see them being as punished for that or ridiculed for that as strongly as Charles is ridiculed for continuing to work on his products. And the reason why is I don't think they should be. I think what Vitalik is doing, Vitalik is trying to put out the best product possible. And so he realizes I need a little more time. I can't just do this overnight. Why don't we give that same level of grace to Charles and the Cardano team that they can't put out the best product overnight. They want to build it up to be the best it can be, and that takes some time. So it's actually kind of a little unfair when people crash on Cardano's lack of producing something when Ethereum's doing the exact same thing.
Well, I mean, I think the question there would also be on what's the fundamentals of the apps being built on top of them, because I feel like Ethereum is definitely getting more use, and I'd imagine there's a lot more longer term developed apps, because it wasn't too long ago when you could even start on Cardano.
But look at all the problems that they have. I know that when we had the what was it called? What was the fork called that we had in August? I think with Ethereum.
Yeah, it was London
hard fork
or something like that.
Even that is continuing to have problems. It fixed the gas fees for a little bit, but I've seen several complaints that the gas fees continue to be confusing, continue to climb. Ethereum is running into a lot of projects. Well, yes, they were there first. Yes, they have a lot of projects on them, but they have some massive issues that they know they need to fix. Why are people not pooping on Ethereum the way they poop on Cardano for not being done right now?
We've got an excellent super chat coming up here.
Yeah.
We've got a couple more to get through, but this is going to spark some really interesting conversation. But we want to save time for those alts too. Are we going to have enough time to go into Crow?
I remember I told you to take 3 and we do 2 for sure. We'll do the 2.
Okay.
We'll do the 2 the first 2 you said. I think Crow and
MATIC.
MATIC. Yeah.
And maybe
time flies when you're having fun,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I mean, what do you guys think about going over?
Yeah. I mean, we still got like pretty much 18 minutes before 11 o'clock. We're good.
I mean, I'm fine. So
yeah.
I'm fine.
I'm gwonky.
Quite gwonky.
But yeah. So the Kardashian again, great point. You're clearly on the ball. So, hit me up on Twitter, send me a message, and we'll jam, because it looks like you're in the know. Really quick, Adams donated $2. The ERC20 converter is also on Testner for ADA, so that's good.
Cool story.
If that means something to some people, I mean, I kind of know what that means, but yeah, that's good.
Yeah.
Matsuka donated $5, and this is the interesting one. Matsuki, Decentraland is an AAA MMO away from going to zero. If Square or Riot decide to add NFTs to their game, say goodbye to sand and mana. So what he means there is if any existing video game creators ever wanted to create something like Decentraland, and that's why I guess what AAA means, meaning like a high level. Yeah, I agree with that? I think so, but don't underestimate the difficulty of understanding crypto. You know, just because Riot can create a great video game doesn't mean that they have the capacity to hire executives who know how to shake and move and make connections in the crypto space. But it could be a lot easier.
I mean, definitely. I mean, I don't know. I mean, we're talking a $1 billion industry. Like, if any AAA game studio wanted to, they could buy up whatever company or whoever's developing Decentraland. You know, like, honestly, I'm kind of this opinion that I agree. I 100% agree. I think now, do I say zero? Probably not. I mean, there's always going to be a place for it, I'm pretty sure. But I think it's one of those things that, like, yeah, that's the missing component, to be honest with you. Yeah. They're very competent blockchain developers, very competent. Like, when I say I don't like Decentraland, I'm really not trashing the project, the people who are creating the project. They're very competent. I think it's the missing key is the fact that they're kind of missing the whole other side of it, which is the game side of it. It's kind of not it's not developed like the game doesn't look great. It's not a fun game. It doesn't really, you know, it doesn't do what modern games have already been doing for a long time. Right. Yeah. So like, that's one of those things that's like, if they can get that component, if a AAA company can, you know, divert attention into that space, and I'm sure it will happen as it proves himself that NFTs and blockchain is going to be a very important part of gaming in the future, then yeah, I definitely see that I could definitely see something coming in and shaking it up with more the missing component, which is what we've already been able to develop with games up until now. So
yep. It's an excellent point from Matsuki, and we really appreciate that super chat. You know, very thought provoking. Honestly, if a World of Warcraft type game could launch and incorporate, you know, blockchains and NFT and things like that. That could be.
Well, I do think a heavy hitter. With where the world is going with blockchain, you know, we'll talk about it a different day. But we're looking at articles about Australia and what they want to do and stuff. I think everything in the world, like everything, is moving towards using blockchain to do it. Yeah. So it's not a question of if, it's a question of when a company will do that, who it will be. But even that, there still will be. You all know this. Just because something was first doesn't make it that special. What's special is when it's the best, and you have to have funding for that. You have to have things. So. That's what I'm interested in. To me, it's really not as important who's the first person. It's who's the best person. And the consumer wants to be satisfied. And if someone else can do a better job of satisfying the consumer, they'll jump ship very easily. So, any other chats?
We've got one more super chat. Manuel Patrick donated 15 units of a foreign currency. I don't know. Thanks, y'all, for doing the TA on ADA. How about your thoughts on XRP and the ongoing SEC cases? So we'll have to do a section on a future episode on that. Because that's a whole nother deal.
I just feel like that they're just dragging it on at this point with XRP.
I don't know. I legitimately couldn't say the first thing about that case.
I think the case has been over, but it's one of the things the SEC is just saying, well, we're gonna lose this, but let's try to drag them down as long as possible with us.
Sorry, Manuel Patrick. But yeah. Oh, one more comparison I wanted to make about Cardano. So this might be a tad long, but I kind of think about Cardano versus Ethereum similarly to Microsoft and Tesla. Now, I know that Microsoft and Tesla don't compete for market space. They don't make the same products. But I kind of think of it in a similar way because Tesla is selling hype. They're selling promise. But the thing is they have a great hype man in Elon Musk. Whereas Microsoft, Bill Gates doesn't even, I don't even think he's on the board of Microsoft anymore. He might just be on the board, but he's not calling any shots. He knows that it's a young man's game at this point. He doesn't have the tech savvy to keep up. He said that. So I kind of see a similar dynamic between Ethereum and Cardano, where Ethereum is kind of established Microsoft type. It's like it's there and they've been operating for a while pretty successfly. And then Cardano is kind of like Tesla, where it's got a lot of promise, it's got a lot of hype, but unfortunately, Carl Hodgkinson is not Elon Musk. And I think that if he could step that side up, again, hiring a really good consultant, really good PR firm that could help him see PR and communication in a different way, or perhaps the way that Elon sees it. Perhaps Elon could be that consultant. I think that Cardano could have some triple-digit numbers in its future very soon. And that's an interesting comparison I thought I'd make. But yeah. Anyway, moving along.
Yeah, let's go and do some TA on Crow. It's Crow and MATIC. Okay, so let's start with Crow. First of all, before I jump into TA, is there anything fundamentally you wanted to discuss, T-Shroom, about Crow? Anything you saw that was really interesting?
Matt Damon.
Obviously, Matt. I mean, we talked about that before. The explosion of Crow happened after that commercial.
Staples Center fundamentals.
That's right.
If anybody's killing PR, we're talking about PR and Carl Hoskinson. If anybody's killing PR, it's Crypto.com. And guess what you don't have with Crypto.com? You don't have a person. They've made the excellent decision of having, when you think of a person in Crow, you think of Matt Damon. You just said it. So, they've gotten ahead of losing in PR. And so when I think fundamental, I think excellent. It's great fundamental because I don't think of anything negative.
88 Arena win?
Yeah. Crypto Arena. You never know. There's some MLS teams that I'm sure would be happy to take some dollars. But yeah. Okay. So go ahead and dive on right on.
Yeah, let's go to. I'm looking at the 4 hourly chart because I want to draw it. I started drawing while we're going. We can go on my screen, Smay, if we're not already. Yeah. I want to see what happens here. It does look like we're in a. So there's a couple ways of looking at this pattern. One, you could say it's a bull flag. So we have our pole right here, or the flag pole right there, and then we have our flag coming down. It's also a descending trading channel, which again, it doesn't scream bullish or bearish necessarily. I love, this is something I learned. I was doing some research on technical analysis when you're looking at these descending or ascending, or if they're flat levels of trading channels, you kind of almost want to draw a line down the middle and say, where does it seem like we're spending a lot of our time? And at the moment, it's kind of split. We started out down low, but as a whole, to me, especially where we're sitting right now, sitting at the top side of this channel, there's a trading strategy that a lot of times what you do is you wait for it to break one way or another. And so in this case, let's say it breaks bullish, because that is, I'm going to look at a couple other things real quickly, but let's say it breaks bullish. You're going to want to see it get up to another level of strong support. So I would love to see it get up to 80 cents before I would say I would have a safe new investment in it. But that's kind of what I'm seeing right here. Again, I would call this a bull flag. It could just be a descending trading channel. But let's look at the other indicators, other oscillators, and see what we see going on the. Let's go to the daily chart first, and then we'll back up and go to the 4 hourly chart. The first thing I'm going to see here on the RSI, it looks like we're kind of bouncing, retesting that 50 level. Do we see any divergence forming? I mean, yeah, you could definitely say we got some bullish RSI divergence forming, because you guys are going to see this price action right here. If you anchor a low here on the 11th of November, we clearly have the RSI going down versus the price action is going up in that same time frame. So there's bullish RSI divergence. Doesn't mean it's finished. We could continue to climb down here and here for a while and still have that formed. But I do think that you look at the MACD. The MACD is turning around, where we might be seeing a cross first. And this was really cool. If you guys don't know a lot about technical analysis, if you're still learning technical analysis, just because we're still in the red zone, it doesn't mean the price action is going to continue to go until we see a bull cross. Right now, we see the MACD line is changing position, so we could see a price rise well before we actually have a bullish cross. It's just the faster that price rises, the faster we'll see that cross. So from a daily standpoint, let me see if there's anything special about the TD sequential, the Bollinger Bands. Bollinger Bands, we're kind of hanging a little bit below that 20 SMA. We crossed below it, came down, touched the bottom of the Bollinger Bands. Let kind of in a wait and see zone there. In the middle of the bottom half of that on the TD sequential, we have a red 8, or Jebb likes to call it a green 8, which means I've seen it change on an 8, but if it gets to a 9, if it gets to a red 9 right there, that is the T sequential on the daily chart screaming, hey guys, it's time to reverse and go back up. We've been coming down for the last 8 days. It's time for us to have a nice little rally. Let's go down to the 4 hourly chart and see if we see anything special there. On the 4 hourly chart, we've changed a couple of times. We have a red 6 again, back half of it, but nothing special on the TD sequential. Bollinger Bands, let's see where we are. We're using, it looks like, because we have a red candle body coming down to the 20 SMA, and then we have a green candle forming, it looks like we're using that 24 hourly SMA as a level of support and bouncing back up. So that looks nice right there. Let's go look at the oscillators real quickly. Ooh, yeah, that line drop, that's actually relevant because I do it on the daily chart, so not as important. It does look the MACD is crossing or going down bearish. So that's, again, just on the 4-hourly chart in a shorter time frame, we might still see some negative price action. But as we showed you guys, the middle of this right here, we could come down and touch the middle again and still be in a really positive zone. As far as the RSI is concerned, got a little bit above the 50, kind of hanging tight around the 50 on the 4-hourly. I don't necessarily see, you can see a shorter time frame bullish RSI divergence that it looks like we played out. So this price action is going down. Don't pay attention to the wick. I want you to look at that candle body. The price action is going down despite the fact that the RSI is going up. And so you guys can see that with bullish RSI divergence. So therefore, we had a nice little bullish movement. Again, it was a shorter time frame, so it looks like we played that out. But we are not necessarily building any bearish RSI divergence. So as a whole, 2-minute technicals, guys, I do think that Crow is in a wait and see, but it does not mean it's bearish. It does not mean this rally that we've had is over. In fact, it looks like it's actually really, really strong and really nice. And give it a couple of days. Look to see the price. Don't just let it break out of it. As you guys can see, we had a wick right here that broke really, really high, but it dropped back in on the same day, same 4-hourly mark. So we want to see confirmation. We want to see candle bodies closing above this line. And I want it to be somewhere in the region of 75 to 80 cents before I think that would be another opportunity to go in and invest. Before we go to MATIC, any of your thoughts, T-Shroom?
Charles Hoskinson is the correct pronunciation. Right?
Yes, Hoskinson.
Charles Hoskinson. I got it wrong.
Hosh. Did you say Hosh?
I said first I said Carl, and I apologize.
Carl.
I do apologize, but I must say again that I'm not hearing his name thrown around enough to have the phonetic familiarity. So
yeah,
the PR failure. But hey, look, so I think Crow, honestly, I was FOMOing. I was wishing that I had bought it back in November when it was just skyrocketing day after day. Am I feeling like I want to get into it now? Yeah, absolutely. It's looking good. They're buying stadiums out here, or they're buying the rights to name stadiums at least. So I definitely like Crow, and you did some excellent fundamental analysis, or technical analysis on it.
Yeah. Now I'm kind of moving towards. We're doing MATIC, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You got to do this one in 2 minutes, actually, this time.
Yeah.
Well, it's hard to do this in 2 minutes.
MATIC shouldn't be too hard because it's it's pretty straightforward. Like, it's nearing its all-time high.
We do. Yeah. I mean, what is the previous all-time high? I mean, I'll look at that 4-hourly chart. That's what's messing me up. Yeah. Okay. We do have a previous all-time high. Yeah, and I think it's gonna get there. Let's look at the daily chart real quick. And so I drew some line on the 4-hourly chart, which would show you in one look at this is a megaphone. But I want to get rid of those. This level, I think, is important. So I want to leave that line there. I used my extended line. Let's look back here, and let's look at a line. That actually looks like a great level. So you guys can see there, I anchored it right here. I drew it through, just letting it touch all these levels. It does look like we potentially, you know what, just for confusion's sake, I want to get rid of this line. It does look like potentially we are kind of bouncing our head right now off of a level of resistance, but I want to continue to draw some formation and draw some lines here. Again, guys, I did not look at this earlier. I'm drawing it as we go. It's technically an ascending wedge, but I don't like it. It's really skinny. Let's see what those lines. You can see we kind of are anchored back here. We hit our head on resistance right here, and then we've used it several times as support. That's why I do that line. It's kind of like a skinny ascending wedge or a sloping trading channel. Either way, we continue to go up. Just so you guys know what I would expect on this. I don't think we're anywhere close to breaking this. I would be surprised if we break this. I would expect this price movement to kind of look more like this and then maybe break it somewhere up in here. We could break it right here as well, but I don't know. However, I mean, formation-wise, I am loving what we're seeing here with MATIC. Let's go look at some indicators and oscillators and see what we're seeing. The first thing I noticed right off the bat is bearish RSI divergence. I'm going to show you what we're seeing. So you guys can see right there, look at that peak, look at this peak. Clearly, we got an ascending price action with descending RSI movement. So that kind of backs up what I just drew for you guys, that I think that we're bouncing our head on the little level of resistance, might come down. We might stay in the middle, I don't know, but it looks like we've been pretty... it looks like the price action is pretty good at bouncing off the support and keep going up. So we're probably going to see this come back down somewhere in the region of about $2, $2.06. Don't be surprised. Don't be scared if that happens. It's part of a healthy retracement. The MACD is still looking very bullish, but again, MACD's a little lagging, but it's showing some bullish signs that, you know, I would expect to see these green histograms turn whitish and start to see a descent right there. Let's go look at the 4-hourly chart real quick. Just gonna look at the oscillators for right now. Again, you know, that bearish RSI divergence continues to show itself even from a longer time frame. You know, that's what you're seeing the histogram slow down a little bit. It's rallying a little bit, but that kind of shows a season of moving sideways. It might move sideways here a little bit before it makes that drop. Let's see if there's anything significant real quickly happening. Oop, that is not what I wanted. Let's see if there's anything happening right here with the Bollinger Bands and the TD sequential. We're at the top of the Bollinger Bands on the 4-hourly. On the daily chart, we are most likely at the top of them too. Yeah, we're overextended on the Bollinger Band, so that's a kind of a sign for MATIC that it is a little overextended, needs a little healthy retracement. So I'm seeing a trend there on the TD sequential. Look at that. Jebb calls it a red 9, but it's a green colored 9. What that tells us is, hey guys, this market's a little overextended, needs a little correction, needs to reverse. If we go down to the 4-hourly chart, do we see the same statement? No, I mean, it's a green one. So again, that's not really anything significant there. As a whole though, guys, I think MATIC had a great run and is going to continue to have a great run. It just is going to need a small retracement before it continues that run. That is my 2-minute technicals on MATIC. So maybe you can go off my screen. How was that one? Was that good? The timing on that one good?
No.
Oh, it sucked. Okay.
Definitely wasn't 2 minutes, but I thought it was good.
It's all right. It's all right.
TA.
You know, guys, we're going to wrap out the stream now. Again, thank you for staying with us. Thank you for watching the show. Jebb will be back tomorrow, and you'll get more Crypto Jebb, but I hope you enjoyed this episode of Coffee and Crypto Live with TA Tim, T Shroom, and Smay. Again, it's going to happen every single month, the second Wednesday, and that's only if Jebb stays healthy. If Jebb ever gets sick or wants to go out of town on vacation, you're going to get more of me. So make sure we still have some people in here that have probably not hit that like button. Smash the like button. Consider subscribing. The whole point of this channel is to help you guys continue to educate yourself and grow in your crypto knowledge. With that being said, I'm going to say adieu. I hope you guys have a great day. There'll be more videos coming out this afternoon, so make sure to watch out for those. But without further ado, guys, have a great day. Thanks for watching. Peace.